Trustee Grumbles, we're ready whenever you are. Yes.
Good evening. Today is December 6th, 2021 for the Orange Township Regular Board of Trustees meeting. I'll call this meeting to order. Ms. Kraft, can you please call roll?
Mr. Grumbles?
Here.
Ms. Taranto?
Here.
Mr. Rivers?
Here. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I know we have first. Go ahead.
Thank you, trustees. I wanted to announce that Mr. Henry Roy Wilson recently passed away. He passed away on November 21st, 2021. I did have the pleasure with working with Mr. Wilson my first few years here at the township. So I just wanted to share a couple things that we'd like to remember him for. Mr. Henry Roy Wilson, with his wife, did reside off of Southold State in Orange Township. He served as our Orange Township Zoning Commission and Orange Township Board of Zoning Appeals since 1993. And before he retired, it was about a total of 25 years of service here at the township. Mr. Roy Wilson is recognized and acknowledged for many of his years of dedication and tireless efforts in serving to help shape the Orange Township community. And I'd just like to have a moment of silence for that. Thank you. Thank you.
I know I read about him just because his time serving the township had concluded when I started, and he was also a veteran, served in the Korean War. I know I read about that, and a long time big employee. I think it was over 40 years.
48 years.
Which I thought is impressive for anyone to do that, to be dedicated to one entity or one role like that. It shows his dedication, and 40 years is a long time for anyone. So he was a strong man.
He was in the meat department right before the pandemic. I would meet with Roy and father, and we would drive to Hannah, meet with other big bear men. I'd sit over in the corner and let them all gossip and talk about the old days. But it was all men, probably in their late 70s. They had a really good time.
Thank you, Michelle, for taking the time to recognize his contribution to our community. Next on the agenda, we have Delaware County Water, the water state utility.
If you don't mind, I'll do that. Yes. Okay. Thanks.
I'm Glenn Marshall. Try to do these presentations. Government bodies, governments with affect us and that's the goal behind this. So would have been out here in 19. Project going on. Years, almost 4 years. Again, appreciate you being here today. You know who we are. We're a nonprofit co-op. Largest facilities in the state. County needs a great majority for. Our top workplace. We are recruiting now, just like in the industry around. I always for the folks that will try to recruit from them. So we've done some things specifically to deal with coronavirus. First off, we were very quick on passes. Actually, paid off. Money that $100,000. So they did help us keep customers bills. And with that, then what was that? So one of the things we did during the pandemic was working with third parties who were outsourced. Part. Always see that our customers were very satisfied. Also, more people, right? Okay. There's some work. Are they member advisory committee? A group to help advise the board of directors. Maybe one of the kids. Things and technology we don't have like X-rays and other. We actually have an office in Rango. Even if we were hindsight, we added a drive-through window. That along with obviously our energy, so we had this. First half day. But so the thing that kept me from coming here in 2019, I wondered where this project expansion. Mainly deep demand, but also just. We also had our deputy general manager in part during a lot of the work, and then they take our master plan. He had capacity, availability, served in that role in the past. They were able to take that through that house. We were able to actually look individual parcel of it. That's and where and what type of development might occur on that. So that's model. Working on the system related thing, part. invested in updating financial model and that, and really building a very detailed and financial model. Also, we have evaluated our capacity, thought they were right on. We just finished the expansion deal on master plan. But the master plans are indicated as not working first phase. Already started the process of going around. That's them additional property. Also, and then City Columbus is starting work on their fourth water plant. We obviously now purchased the old Township. Well, water tanks, one townships. Along with lots of transmission lines, other things. I think anything Pacific and Orange, not the rest. The board did approve those apartments are in our oldest building, which is 70s. Really needed some investment of that all building use. Kind of like based on fire from right in through one garage. Next slide. Thank you, Terry. Fire district CFO. Here's the building out. Everything. Really excited. Next one, some of you may know Bill Fuller, you may know for 100 years. For the hospital. District serving our ward. Did pass away at 94. So just other things we wanted to do, partnerships. Really partnerships, districts. One thing that is your next interest out there. Just help. Kind of led this effort by coordinating better with the fire department and really work out well for us. And so neighborhood our customer complaints related specifically to that top 8%. Part because of the coordination. Fire department would be so. We also partner with a lot of nonprofits. Several years ago, one of the things we're working on now is Just another thing. What happens? So, scout group. Next slide. We're working with doorknob, actually the first. We're trying to do leverage the back door mail. Take the doorknob, take the building. Fire it. Operated like a certain way. Water bill. Connected to it. Up there. So take use this building on that. One bill. We're also doing system expansion. Finish new production system and all out. Ultimately, your vision. Kind of talk about the safety and nuclear. That's what I have. And if you have any questions, I appreciate it. And just general update. And one thing wasn't on the slide. We've got full source water next 20 years growth. On that, additional sources. Presentation. I got any questions?
Actually, I have a couple. So Columbus is moving or establishing a water facility. That was in the first. Is that the first?
That is their first outside city limit. So they own your Shaughnessy and the other river.
Right.
Out reservoir. Your partners. Out reservoir. First actually outside. Right on. Bell right there. So right on.
Okay. And I knew that Hoover was. My understanding though is that there's an arrangement sort where Allen Creek through water tunneling is connected to Hoover. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So the Allen Creek Army Corps operated, but the portion reservoir as the needed. So they have right next to our plant. They have a pumping system on the border. That's
What's referred to as the Hoover, like the Ohio State. Is that? I want to be accurate. I keep a boat at the Hoover. I'm a frequent flyer at the Hoover, so I'm gonna get that right. There's a lot of questions that come up about connectivity with Allen Creek, and the reason I asked about Columbus moving into the county segues into your bullet point on economic development. And in 2019, when I started campaigning and talking, a consistent theme were complaints. I was trying to understand the previous annexations and the logic. And one particular developer just pulled out a piece of paper and did the math. It had a lot to do with water and sewer tax and the expenses associated and the timeline associated in navigating through development in Delaware County status quo versus going to Columbus. Can you speak to that at all? You know, obviously, I imagine you're aware of that discrepancy. When I see that that plant is moving into the county, obviously, I kind of wonder about, you know, long term, what does that consist of and what might be in the pipe?
Well, yeah, it's only a treatment facility. Their only intention is to they can treat the water that they have illegal. Learners within our service area. For water system, that line or part of the service. Them and it's telling that very distinct line. So they're not committed to serve in Delaware. And then your other question had to do with capping fees.
Right.
And like I said, they the size. I don't know. I don't know. It depends on how much frontage and everything and very little bit. And they'll pay extra. They appreciate it. Size of loans. The basic math says process will serve the customer. We're dividing the cost. Plan. So the plan is 13 million. Pump station, pipeline, that holds water from the Shaughnessy. Columbus takes it. That plant. That's another 8 million. And buy into the water project in that reservoir. Pumps get that water. Basically throw in all those figures on the number. We're looking at what does it cost us long term to build the infrastructure customer. At total cost divided by the number of new customers you're going to add to that infrastructure. They'll serve is the economic cost.
Understood. Yeah, I get that. You've got to cover your investments and where you're at in the
Yeah,
capital.
we're over here. Everyone else is all members of the lot. Making sure that the new customers take their way out of the system.
Right. From an investment standpoint, I mean, if they're not, even if they are not sure, there's the basis for annexation was rooted in that. My understanding is if a multi-unit complex is developed, it's not just one tap fee. Every unit has their own unique tap fees.
Yeah, the way we have it set is cost for the meter itself, and the capacity fee per unit. Oh, wait, so we better read it. Just throwing a number out. There is some reduced equivalents to a single bank.
But per unit, 200 unit place is 200 times 5,000 versus 200 times 2,000.
Yeah, it's less expensive.
Right. So once the annexation happens, that changes the dynamic of whose water it is or whose customer it is. Is that
It does not.
no? So south of Powell Road, all of those developments that were tapped into, they paid for Delco.
If it's Delaware County. County that Delta that. But the individual lot, $1,000 difference.
I'm talking more about the specific annexation south of Powell Road that that took place for multifamily.
Yeah, and I'm just.
No, but it's next to
The drug mart
yeah, discount drug mart.
on
There's-
South Old State.
Yeah, that was already.
Okay.
So that was.
previously annexed as a result of, I think, the settlement you might have mentioned, part of the or something. Okay.
And I appreciate that question.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you. Any public comments? Chris, anything? No? Any agenda changes? Are there items on
Oh,
the,
I'm sorry, Trustee Grumbles. I do have 2 agenda changes regarding the consent agenda. The W.W. Williams, that we did find, we do have an exact quote for that. And Lisa, do you have the number?
Yes, it is $14,330.51. So the $25,000 gets replaced with the $14,330.51.
And then we would like to add an additional item on there. Silas, can you specify the EPS security? I don't have the total with me.
I actually left it in the trustee box myself. It's 13, right around 13,000.
Is it the 14.4 that we talked about?
Yes.
That was
No,
sellers.
I'm
Sorry,
It
my
was
bad.
right around 13,000. Shade under
Do you have
13,000.
the-
This is for the 2 new offices in the break room, so Val and Leanne's offices, to install the card readers on those 2 office doors. That's roughly 4,500-ish. The other 8,500-ish in that purchase order is for these 2 doors here, the Thompson room doors that will enter into the future zoning offices, and the current break room as well, so that when this room is open for HOAs and other groups to use again, that the staff offices and the staff break room will not be accessible. Those we're hoping to get through by the end of the year. Waiting on some more communication and confirmation that that'll actually be possible. So it may in fact impact rental of the room here starting the first of the year until we can get the offices secured.
yes,
We need the total amount.
12,896.24.
There you go.
Zero on that. Here's the agenda. That's good. Any other agenda changes, Ms. Donnie?
That's all I have.
I'd like to recognize the township team on the holiday Christmas celebration that we just had. Really well done. And love to see all the staff that showed up and the OTOC members. Nothing but positive feedback from everyone I spoke with and throughout the community. And I was talking with the vendors that we partnered with. I went to get a coffee, and they were talking about having sold out of the estimated amount of hot chocolate in the first hour, which is indicative of effective marketing, right? It means that you were able to connect with our community and get folks to come out and spend some time with our team and their own community, get outside and enjoy some much needed holiday spirit. So well done. That was a coordinated team effort. I know Silas was the traffic director extraordinaire. they could see him from 6 miles back, so it only made sense. But I saw everyone there on the team, and fire department did a fantastic job rocking the lights and strategically positioning that pond, which I thought was pretty genius. Make sure that there weren't any accidents and stuff, and just really impressed. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I thought the move to North Orange really worked out well. The layout over there just gave a lot more flexibility, and by far, I think the best event that we've had since we started doing our holiday.
Carolyn was awesome too. They did a really nice job. The kids got the park to play in if they got jittery, and it seemed like no detail was overlooked. So it's a testament to you, Michelle, the team you built, and it's a collaboration within the team because you could tell everybody had a part to play in that. And nice job. Any questions with the items on the consent agenda? I know we needed a new truck on here for the fire department. I thought
That's its own resolution.
That?
That's its own resolution?
no, I'm talking about the Dodge
The
Dakota.
maintenance
Oh,
truck?
the Dodge, I'm sorry.
So that truck, I know we had gone back and forth about where really the org chart resided. And we're still with fire, is that correct, or no?
That's correct.
Okay. And would just request quarterly or biannual or annual kind of update. The one thing about his position that I want to keep tabs on is it's amazing. So thank you, though. What we're receiving from neighboring communities for his efforts. I know that was a big part of the lobbying for that role, was it would essentially start to pay for itself and then some. And I know the first time I heard the number after asking 8 months ago, maybe I was pretty impressed with some of the work he's doing on different townships and community engines and such. And went over and actually looked at the equipment. It's pretty impressive. And collectively, the team has said he's really good. And I've also seen him step into other roles. I encountered him at the community garden this year installing a water pump. So he's staying busy, and from a utility standpoint. So I just think that's an important number we can share and look at, since we're getting a brand new dog. Any other questions on the consent agenda? Make a motion to approve resolution 21-381, approving the consent agenda.
380 also, please.
Oh, 380 as well. Resolution 21-380, approving the record of proceedings. 21-381, approving purchase orders, in and out purchase orders, and blanket purchase orders.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Taranto?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
All right, that's fine. I'm going to cover development and zoning.
Okay, so this Thursday, December 9th, we do have a couple BZA applications. The first, which was continued from the last month's hearing, is a sign for the new Crash Champions over on Columbus Pike. Following that, seeking an area variance for the North Orange subdivision to replace an existing patio. The patio does encroach on the rear and side yard setbacks. And lastly, seeking an area variance for the Little Bear Village for, I believe it's a deck for the rear yard setback. The 3 applications, and we don't have anything going on for zoning commission at this time. We will be having our second meeting with our zoning consultant, ZoneCo, tomorrow, and then discussing a game plan for next year.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. First thing tonight is our resolution to award a 3-year mowing bid contract to Property Works. We did a competitive bid several weeks back, opened bids up. We had a pretty long bidding window to allow for a lot of questions and a lot of feedback. We had 5 bids, I believe. After reviewing bids and references, consensus is to award contract to Property Works, who was our lowest bidder in the process. 3-year contract for all of our township properties, very similar to our current setup. A couple tweaks in the areas that they're going to be.
You said they're the lowest bidder too.
They are.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Make a motion to approve resolution 21-382 authorizing the Director of Operations to enter into an agreement with Property Works LLC for 2022, 2023, 2024 contract for mowing and trimming of Orange Township, Delaware County, Ohio, from properties.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Tranto? Mr. Rivers?
Yes. Thank you, Board. The second item I have for you tonight is a resolution to finalize, I guess, to enter into contract for the Roe Park Playground expansion. This is a project that I inherited on my arrival here. We are at the point now we're ready to award the contract by World Mid States. That will be a probably April project this year. Entering the contract now, completing purchase orders will allow us to get the playground components in motion. Much like the rest of any industries these days, there is a longer lead time than normal on playground components and some of the parts that we're going to use for this expansion. But again, we are looking at a April construction.
Can you repeat the work, actual improvement work, what they're doing?
Yes, sir.
At a summary level.
Yes, sir. We have of the existing playground areas, all the existing safety surfacing will be pulled up and replaced. There's significant landscape work being done to rehab, remove, replace a variety of stuff around that playground area of the park. We'll also be doing playground expansion to the south and east of the existing playground to add some additional ADA components and expand the playground with the additional safety surfacing and a slight reroute of the bike path that connects it.
I know that was a project, the ADA project. That was important. The ADA changes, this isn't inclusive of the changing facility type thing in the restroom to accommodate disability, though. It's just the playground.
This is just a playground piece, correct?
Okay.
Those will hopefully come with start messing with restrooms and constructing those. Those will be part of that for sure. Starting probably with Northwood Park next year.
Okay, great. Nice job. I know that there was some community forum discussion in our HOA. We're in the neighborhood in Throw Park, and other comments about some of the landscaping prohibiting line of sight for parents and stuff. So this is a good move, and nice work. I'm happy for the questions. Trustee Durante, Trustee Rivers, any questions?
No.
Make a motion to approve resolution 21-383, authorizing the Director of Operations to enter into an agreement with Mid-States Recreation for Roe Park Playground expansion and improvement of existing play area, and agree to the fiscal officer issuing purchase orders obligating necessary funds.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Tranto?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
Thank you, Board. Next item for tonight is adding to our fleet complete program that was initiated a year or two back with our cell phones. The Fleet Complete program does offer some additional components for monitoring staff, monitoring vehicles. One of the main features of this that I really enjoy, to piggyback onto our cell phone provider of AT&T through Fleet Complete, is that we'll be able to monitor all of our fleet vehicles within the roads and parks departments. This will include snow removal routes, staff time during the day, fuel consumption, maintenance alerts, any kind of issues that go wrong with the vehicles. It's a relatively minor investment to add extra layers of accountability to our staff and our fleet, also with maintenance and some other matters as well. So I'd like to bring this before the board as a potentially discussion item, but also to let everybody know that we'd like to move forward with it. It's a relatively nominal fee to purchase the modules. Then subsequently, there is a monthly fee for each module as well, which we have accounted for 2022 budget.
$1,400 up front, and then what the monthly fee is?
The annual, it's a monthly fee. Off the top of my head, it's $3,600 a year for all of our, gosh, I want to say 14.
Just the way the fees are flowing in, I believe that's one awareness more than that, right?
Yeah, it's just it's a new program that we're putting in place, and we wanted to let the board know.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I definitely approve of this. I think it's a good call from a liability standpoint, all kinds of different things. And Silas and I had the luxury of getting rained on and discussing it last night to some of the ways he's leveraged this in the past that are surprising and probably less first of thought when you think of a program like this and protecting the township's interests as well. So nice work. Thank you.
As well as our staff as well.
Correct.
Too.
Yeah. Every township, meaning our employees, our community, liabilities.
Absolutely. Thank you, Board. The last thing I have is just to place on the front burner, back burner, wherever it ends up is fine, that our parks levy and our roads levy will be expiring. Collect through 2022, they'll be expiring next year. I wanted to put
They
before
expire this year, they collect for next year.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you. Yeah, those are very important details. So I wanted to put before the board just to begin discussions about when would be the appropriate time to place those two levies back before the board or before the community for consideration. Historically, it appears they've been on the November ballot, but every year is a little different. Every cycle is a little bit different. So I just wanted to begin some discussion so we didn't get too far behind and be scrambling to try to figure out when to do it. And it may be premature now, but at least wanted to bring it up for discussion for the board.
No, I think it's responsible, not premature, and appreciate you bringing this up.
If you wanted, just if I could interject, if you wanted on the primary election, we would have to have everything in by the 1st of February, like February 3rd. All the both resolution to proceed and necessity have to be completed and certified by the Board of Elections. So,
Do you project, looking at the later pages, I don't suspect we'll need to change the millage at all, really. It's unless we want to go after roads, and I think we've discussed bond options there, so I don't, that's something that we're still interested in.
yeah, Road and Bridge collects it, it's half mills. It does not qualify for the rollback. So if you decided to make a change there, you aren't going to lose anything from the state of Ohio. So unlike Parks, which still does have the, it does qualify still for the state rollback. And Parks collects at 1 mills.
We probably need to have more in-depth discussion on that than roads funding.
Mm-hmm.
When that split off, we did not.
Yeah, I'm not. It looks like it was first tax year was 2016. So at that point, the state might have. That was probably right around the time they were doing away with the rollback. Would be my guess, because we've had the Parks and Recs levy since 2007.
Yeah, it looks like we have to. Well,
My understanding as well is that there is, even with the rollbacks, there's an opportunity to extend the levy as well for going back to the voters less frequently too, which is also something with the parks levy. If we can sustain what we're doing right now, will be something we.
yeah, I'm all for that. Less frequent voting and disruption and all of that, more sustainability. I don't think our parks levy is as critical right now as our road funding situation. So thank you for bringing that up. Trustee Taranto, Trustee Rippers, any comments on the levies?
I guess I have a question. Is it worth bringing up at after the first of the year to see if we want to put it on the spring ballot or wait till November? Or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm if it weren't for road funding, I would have requested that we talk through that and decide. Now I'm fine with, right? Especially for parks, I think now I'm okay saying, sure, let's go in at the primary, and if we fail, we'll go at the general, right? Roads, I think we need to be a bit more strategic with. because of where we ended up. We have more projects in demand than we have bottom line, right? So I met with the engineer's office a couple of weeks ago. I know they came this year after we met and gave a general update on project planning. When we met a couple of weeks ago, they specify with more clarity where they think they're going to obtain funds, and we talked about various options pertaining to Vale Canyon, Shanahan, and the underpass specifically. The underpass is really critical because that's really the constraint in the county taking on Orange Road, which when we compare Orange and Powell, from my opinion anyway, there's no comparison, volume of traffic with the schools and that kind of thing. So it's very pertinent to us from a sustainability and funding standpoint that when a road grows to the extent it grows beyond a reasonable township upkeep and maintenance type position, very important that we get the county on board and partner with them. Otherwise, we're going to get in a situation repeated. Vale Canyon's another one. When we look long term at the big Walnut interchange, we look at what's already happening on Powell. It's going to increase traffic as they open up access to Claris, Gemini. Now we've got increased demand on a very, very narrow, dangerous, in my opinion, deteriorating two-lane road that we can't afford to just go after in one phase. So we've taken a multi-phase approach. By the time the other phase is done, we have to resurface all the work that's been done prior. So I'm hoping that with parks, I would say great. I feel confident getting the other two board members. With roads, I think we need to really discuss it. There's a development opportunity that surfaced that I know the county is interested in talking with us about. It may become, pertinent. I would prefer to wait and get more information with the fiscal officer, but if the rest of the board wants to move forward, I'm fine with that too.
Yeah, I think it
Okay.
But I would certainly have everything ready to go. If you want it on the May.
Right. Any other questions?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Chief.
Good evening, board. First thing on the agenda tonight is 384 to 385 are regarding firefighter paramedic Jared Reese. He recently hired full time back in October. He previously was in another township, so we're requesting to be able to transfer his 265.9 hours of sick leave, and then calculate his vacation time accrual based off of 4 months and 27 days that he spent with.
Pretty standard.
Yes.
Make a motion to approve resolution 21-384 accepting transfer of 265.90 hours of sick leave to the credit of firefighter paramedic Jared Reese.
Real quick, isn't there a limit on once it hurts?
It's on the way out. I'm not mistaken. I believe.
No, there is a limit. It's in the contract. Section, whatever's listed there, 18.9 of the CBA limits it not in excess of 360 hours. So, good question.
There's also one in separating just from an employment handbook standpoint too.
How much you can cash?
That could be what I'm thinking. Call the motion.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Taranto?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Make a motion to approve resolution 21-385 recognizing prior full-time Ohio Township service Jared Reese for the purpose of vacation accrual calculation.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Taranto?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Oh boy, Chief, the Go ahead.
All right, thank you, sir. So next on the agenda is the purchase of, request to purchase a new suppression vehicle in an amount of $1,024,000. This is a vehicle that currently it's going to replace one of our engines from 2007 that was purchased. But the thing that we're trying to do with is to think about the future. With a lot of Evans Farms, the 2030 and Shanahan areas that are going to be building up, our 100-foot ladder, the platform that we do have, and which we need to continue to have because of some of our setbacks, our commercial facilities, and our very large facilities. It's very tight to get that truck into some of the areas that we're currently seeing built around here. So this new engine will have a 75-foot stick, and it only takes 12 feet clearance to be able to put the stick up, and it goes up in under 20 seconds. So that will increase our ability to get into, if the ladder comes up and it's like not going to get that in that area, the Quint, which is an engine but has the capability of performing, which you were able to see, and we'll get in there and be able to put up a stick for a rescue stream in a matter of seconds.
I want to bring up in our consent agenda, because we don't go through each line item. You can see we're going to spend $25,000 on engine repair for the ladder truck, I believe, right? Is that correct? Or one of our engines?
That was the 100-foot platform had a compression issues, end up being just a head, which you can see is 14,000, and that is something that future we are going to need to also look at replacing that with the setbacks in some of our houses and the commercial facilities we have.
Right. The reason I bring that up is currently, if that goes down, then we're pretty limited. Right?
We are very limited. The good thing we have with our mutual aid partners around our area right now, we have Columbus Fire Department, so they do help us out. However, if they don't have anything available, then yes, we're without a ladder.
When we went to Sutphen and met the family, it's a local family-owned, multi-generation business. They hand-build everything right here in Ohio. Very impressed with their quality, customer service, and the facility in general. Watching them hand-build these trucks, it was remarkable. Running the wires, doing everything. And the questions I was asking the owner and the founder's great-grandson, I believe it was, or great-grandson, were around why we have to swap these things out as frequently as we do. They've got diesel engines in them, which, from prior experience in the military, etc., those things will run forever. And it has more to do with everything else, and that's truly the expense of those trucks, the deterioration from pressure and the water flowing. By the time you start looking at it, when it gets time to replace everything, it's actually just as affordable to get a new vehicle. And I've called out that engine repair as an example. You start having recurring $25,000, $50,000 charges, and you're down, you can't service your community. It's a problem. The other thing about this, and correct me if I'm wrong here, we went over the different options for an engine. And the real cost is just in the base engine. It's not in the additional ladder. It's not really in they had a 2-foot difference in the cab, and it was minimal. That was surprising to me, and so you hit something there that's important for our community to hear, and that is when you extend the utility on these vehicles, each one at minimal charge, it just ensures that we're able to provide service with every vehicle as opposed to waiting to respond for that specific vehicle. It's the same reason we have cross-trained fire department. Every person can contribute no matter the situation. And I think that's important when we're asking for $1 million purchase, to be very candid with the community and transparent about. They're paying for increased service, utility, and safety, reliability, things that they count on us to make the right decision for. So commend you on this, and also on bearing the used car sales discussion I had with the owners, which I think is important to mention as well. The reason we're asking for this now, there's an upcoming price increase, and through the auctioneer process, they revealed that secret information, and also that if we put forward a certain amount of money, we would get further discounts on our purchase. All things we found through asking and ensuring that we're being as fiscally responsible as possible. So this purchase today will save us significant money in material cost, as well as a discount in financing charges. So it's important that we take these steps now. Any other questions or comments from the board?
I think you covered it.
Make a motion to approve resolution 21-386, authorize the issuance of a purchase order to Sootman Corporation in the amount of $1,024,404 for the purchase of a new fire department suppression vehicle.
Second.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Taranto? Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
Thank you very much for it. Appreciate it. And I know everybody back at the station also appreciates it.
You want to share the lead time, just so everyone has an understanding of how long we're looking right now with these?
So lead time right now is anywhere between 14 and 18 months once we see it. 3, 4-ish. You'll see. Depending on how everything goes.
Important.
And then my last thing on the agenda is a local real estate agent reached out to one of our firefighters, and they have 161 brand new beanies that actually can't do anything with. See if we wanted to do anything with them. What normally fire departments do is we put them on our apparatus when we respond out, especially medicals dealing with the child. Give them a beanie baby, kind of help them, bad situation. And also, maybe one of their parents or loved one is in the ambulance, being transferred by our medic, or something going on at the house, we can give a beanie baby to comfort them. So they're nice enough to reach out to us. So they have 161 new beanie babies valued at $1,610 that they'd like to the department to put on our trucks to give out.
Are they clean?
They're brand new.
Okay.
Brand new.
Not used.
No, not used.
Do we auction them off and buy more stuffed animals? eBay?
We'll discuss that once we get them.
Nice gesture. Thank you. Make a motion to approve resolution 21-387, acknowledge and accept donation.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Taranto?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
Thank you, board. I appreciate it.
Craft.
All right, let's do the easy ones first. First one is for consensus, requesting consensus to either hold or not to hold a liquor license hearing for Bob Evans Restaurants.
Are they spiking coffee now?
I think they're gonna start serving, I don't know, mimosas. Who knows? I don't know.
Ready for this, Chief? People are going to start to call in early in the morning now. Breakfast. They're going to get a little more excited.
I don't have an issue. I have consensus to move forward.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Thank you. Next, doing something a little different with the financial report. It'll start to be part of the journal. We learned through some of the record stuff that we're doing that if we put it here, it just eliminates one other thing we have to keep from a record standpoint, just by embedding it in the journal. So a few highlights for November. Our ending cash balance was $26,794,706.52. No real change in investment mix of about $19 million in investments. Our fund balances were general fund was at $7.4 million, roads at $2.9, fire at $8.2, parks at $5.3. Our expenses through November are 15.5 million, and our revenue is 17.9. Any questions? The next item is, unfortunately, we've had quite a few burials in the last couple weeks. So we are asking for some, to reappropriate some money back to our cemetery fund. Cemetery fund is one of those things that you just kind of guess because you don't know if it's going to be a light year, a busy year, what. But it seems like we've had quite a few recently. So the next one is just increasing appropriations for the cemetery fund. You want to go ahead and clear that one out so we can.
Except for the repair and maintenance, it looks like that would offset pretty much what went up, right?
Yes, that's where we took it from.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, we're just reallocating it.
Okay. Make a motion to approve resolution 21-388, revising permanent appropriations established in resolution 20-401.
Second?
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Taranto?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
All right, now next is the 2022 appropriations. We emailed out last week the detail around the appropriations, and I also included some just call outs or key items just to bring to everybody's attention. I'd like to start off and say a big thank you to Todd Dope for all his help and attention getting this together, a lot of back and forth. Appreciation also, and thanks to the department managers and Michelle for their help getting this all together for tonight's meeting. I don't know if there were any questions on some of the call outs, road paving program at 1.1 million, road salt estimate at 70,000. Let's see, adding a ladder truck at 1.6 million. Proposing a mini excavator for roads at 100,000. And Green Meadows Trail for 130,000. A new pickup for parks at 50,000, and then 100,000 in road sealing and 35,000 for the park lawn project. And then the biggie, 2.5 million for Bale Canyon phase 1 construction. And then another pickup truck for roads, replacing theirs, their 2007 pickup truck. And then we budgeted 1.5 million for ARP and just improvement of sites, just as kind of for future capital projects. And once the year starts, that can be, everybody decides how they want to spend that. We can make whatever changes we need to through appropriation changes. And I'd also just like to remind everybody that this is kind of a starting point for the year and kind of sets kind of a plan or a path on kind of what people would like to achieve this year. But by no means are these numbers set in stone. They can be changed at any time, like we just changed cemetery. So it's just kind of a starting point.
Did a great job for a starting point. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you for the discussion on that.
No problem. Any questions? Things people want to talk about?
You'll have a lot of that parks funds spent down before you go to the ballot, correct?
Correct.
Because that's not going to look good.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I know there's been some questions that will about when the parks plan. Make a motion to approve resolution 21-389, approval of 2022 permanent appropriation.
Okay.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
Ms. Taranto? Thank you.
Well, before I go in my report, I do want to introduce our new senior HR manager, Mike Kremnitzer. He is here with us tonight at his first trustee meeting. So that Val and I have been onboarding him the past week, and we welcome you on our team.
That's amazing. Is it?
The the first thing I have on the agenda under administrative report, I just wanted to bring up the discussion of the digital newsletter. I know with working with Guide Studios, our consultant on this, there was it was on track to get to a completely digital form of a newsletter, and Val and I are going to be taking lead on the winter newsletter soon, just to get a draft in place and some topics for us to work on. But I wanted to get the sense from the board on if we are moving forward for that, or should I hold off and we can still do the paper and digital form, or just wanted to get the thoughts.
Personally, you're talking about switching to digital for the last newsletter or next year?
Well, I think so. I think the winter newsletter will fall towards end of early next year.
Right.
So I didn't know if we wanted to go forward with this next newsletter going digital or holding off until.
I think we should plan on both in case we have pickups.
Okay.
So the formatting and everything, I'm fine with digital from a expense standpoint, and then accessibility. I know we put the newsletters online, but I think it's just as effective with our.
So it's minimal expense actually for key communication piece. And that's one of the things that our residents, their biggest complaints is our lack of communication. And that's one thing that actually comes into their home. I think we'll get more readership by mail piece and digital. So that is my personal, and I know I know Janella mails a newsletter. We traditionally always have. We also have it looking much more attractive now, so it encourages readership. That's my personal.
I think what I was asking for is to consider both. I know the expense
Correct.
is minimal, but I think, as I said, that I actually thought through that too. The trouble with going strictly digital would be folks that aren't digital, and mail doesn't have that limiting factor. Perhaps something that we can, with our address data bank, address bank, if people want to opt into digital, that's fine. Trouble being if somebody moves or whatever, that would be,
Yeah, and I'd like to. My hope with, especially with Val, since she's gonna be handing off a lot of her HR duties to Mike. Hopefully, we can focus more on the communications and getting some more consistent media out there on our website and our Facebook page. So, of course, we'll continue doing the quarterly newsletters, or seasonal newsletters. But I think we can make a better effort on our digital
what was our
media.
newsletter bill for postage and print? What I think it was 20-ish for everything.
Wait, 1,000?
For,
No, it's like 2,000 or 3,000, I think.
Less than $5,000.
Yeah.
It was less than that.
Yeah, I think
that
it was.
was for. I thought that was the less than 5,000 was just the postage. The printing, I remember there was the bill, the people that the folks that printed also mail us, and so their invoice was all in.
Yes, base printing. That includes
I thought
postage
they
and printing.
invoices for the mail after they did it and metered it and everything.
I know Guy had also talked about with digital, obviously there's like a lot less cost. You could possibly go to a monthly digital and then like a semi-annual, more bulked up bill piece to go out. So there's different options that you could adjust so you're getting something in the mailbox. Maybe it has a little bit more content to it, stands out a little more than current quarterly, and you have more consistent communication with the digital piece.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Semi-annual, larger newsletter, and then a monthly or whatever. That's just a 2-pager with updates, staffing changes, events.
My goal is for Val and I to kind of create a strategic plan for this next year, and we can pass that on to the board then.
Thank you.
The last item under administrative report is regarding dental insurance. So this kind of came a little last minute to us. We were notified that our current dental insurance was increasing by 30%. So we asked our insurance broker to look at different options for us, and I shared this with the healthcare committee board, and the board wants to make a recommendation to switch to Delta insurance. We had Delta I think 2 years ago. I remember I was part of Delta when I first started here, and everybody seemed pretty satisfied with them, and so I'd like to receive consensus from the board to move forward with that insurance provider.
So, thank you.
Thank you. And that is all I have.
Any other comments from the board or requests? Motion to approve resolution 21-390, meeting adjournment.
Mr. Grumbles?
Yes.
Ms. Taranto? Mr. Rivers?
Yes.
Thank you.